Today's topic is about Rasta destruction and oppression, of course, in Jamaica. So let me review that again. Today's topic is about Rasta destruction and oppression in Jamaica. Now, a number of persons are not aware in terms of how some things, there's some history to what happens with particular individuals in Jamaica and how that sort of history has actually spread over into other things. So therefore, what I want to do today is to sort of contextualize some stuff that has happened in Jamaica and let you understand some of the current happenings that are also occurring in our state. So the first thing I want to actually speak about is a matter that a number of persons are aware of. And that was the destruction of, by the colonial powers in Jamaica, that is, in 1954. Um, and that destruction of a particular community was a pinnacle community where the Rastafarian community was actually destroyed in that period. And for persons who want to actually go and do some reading on that, because remember, as I said, my channel is about information and trusted information for a person to use for knowledge and for power. The thing was done by Smith, Aldgar, and Nettleford in 1967. That's an article that you can actually go and read, and it's on the Rastafarian movement in Kingston, Jamaica. Extremely important for you to sort of go and understand what happens there. But we need to understand clearly is when the colonial authorities destroyed the Rastas in that time, they were destroying a group of persons who were not in keeping with their ideology, their socialization, and their philosophy about life. So, what they thought to do, and the best option for them, was to destroy that community. But was that that was the first time it happened? But was that the last time it happened in Jamaica? And the argument is no, 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 no. It has happened more than once, and I presume will continue to happen if we aren't careful about repeating history. Another incident occurred in Corval Gardens in Jamaica in 1963, and that you can actually go in and read it in the UN Human Rights of 2017, how a Rastafarian group was destroyed. And this time it was destroyed. Some persons actually want to ascribe the blame to. And when I say blame here, ascribe what happened to, listen carefully, the Jamaica police force or the Jamaica Constabulary Force. And I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, let's not be simplistic. The police force cannot go and do things on their own without the government's intervention. So therefore, when we want to understand what has actually happened in society, and we are trying to say, okay, then it's the police force, and ascribe all the blame to the police force to say, okay, then it was the police that destroyed the Rastas in Jamaica in 1963 in Coral Gardens. That is a simplistic approach to what happens because the police force during 1963 was not led by so much so by the commissioner of police, but more so by a political mandate. And therefore, we need to understand that clearly. So, politics was a critical part of what happened in Coral Gardens. And whether we want to accept it or not, it's a reality. Now, the thing is, if an individual differs from you in terms of political ideology or social ideology or any other ideology or having a different cosmology from you, that's a different worldview from you, then is the best option to destroy them? No, we need to understand that clearly because that has happened in Jamaica time and time and time and time again, and it seems to repeating. So there's some destruction that have happened in Jamaica, and I'm not ascribing them to any political party, but I'm just going to relate some of them that happened to you in Jamaica, and we can sort of look that a number of these things that have happened in Jamaica have been mobilized by persons, and it has some political undertone of the political currencies that one need to understand as well. Evelyn Tide Home was one such destruction that occurred in May 20th of 1980. Of course, at that time, I was a child, but it happens therefore. Coronation Market has been destroyed many times in Jamaica. Recently, we have been destroyed in Jamaica. Ray Market. I mean, I'm not sure if that's politically motivated or not, but we're saying I'm trying to put you through in terms of the destruction that occurred in Jamaica, and there's something critical about all of these destructions. Similar to all of these destruction of a particular thread that's happening to these destructions in Jamaica. And what is that similar thread that happens through all these destructions? Poor people. Now, when you look at Jamaica society and look at destructions of these areas, these communities, these group of persons, and if you want to say it is not because these individuals are poor or low in terms of economic and social power, then if you ever think that way, I want to actually bring your attention to something. How many times in Jamaica's history have we destroyed affluent, rich, wealthy communities? Name me one. One time. I'm waiting. If you can provide me with that information, I'll gladly accept and reconstruct my view as to what is actually going on in Jamaica. So when I say that what we have done in Jamaica's history, and the police has actually done it on a number of occasions, where they actually abuse Rastas. I think Lieutenant City had a song where he actually looked at the Rasta man selling him is actually things, and looked to see exactly how the policeman actually treated the Rasta. And clearly that epitomizes how the structure has been used against this group of individuals. Now we need to understand clearly. If you realize carefully, I am bald-headed. But I am not looking at the matter because I am a Rasta, because I'm not. I'm looking at the issue because of the whole matter relating to equity and fairness in a society. Now, so we have destroyed these group of individuals for centuries. But we need to understand clearly, it is not only this group of persons that have been destroyed. Remember carefully that what transpired with Paul Bogle again was not a poor matter. And the police force in Jamaica emerged as a result of Morant B rebellion. The police force was established to quell these poor guys demonstrating for their very rights. What are we saying? The persons here listening to me now is that in Jamaica, it has been systematically done where the structure destroy poor families. But one can argue it is not a Jamaica thing, and I agree with you. Because it has happened in the United States and other places where it seems that when the blacks or the poor or the marginalized rise from the ash like Phoenix and build their own, the structure destroy them. Again, you can actually go and actually look what obtains in Jamaica, in Kingston. And a number of persons are not aware that the whole idea about Coronation Market, Salt Lane, and all of that place came up as a result of poor people in Jamaica wanting one just to make a living for themselves. And the town Kingston, that is, was actually established by a group of persons who would normally go and ply their wares just because they wanted to make a life for themselves. You can actually go and read an article by Simmons on what transpired in Jamaica in terms of Kingston and how Kingston was developed. Now, historically, it seems like politics in Jamaica has always been structured to destroy the marginalized. Now, you may argue that is not true because Michael Manley substantially put in place policies and programs and as well as measures to elevate and uplift those who are poor. And you are absolutely correct. However, when Michael Manley was actually doing that, we need to understand clearly the masses of the people were still poor. And his policies generally assisted a number of poor people to elevate from the slum or from where they were into a higher state. And that was spectacular and cannot be debated otherwise. However, politics in Jamaica has not substantially aided people. Politics has only crafted a system to ensure that the masses keep them in power and the people are marginalized and further depressed. All the governments in Jamaica, barring none, has not substantially eradicated one, poverty, 2, marginalization, and 3, suffering of the black people that are in the country. You name me one. No government in Jamaica has eradicated these 3 issues, these 3 phenomena. Where are we in Jamaica? When people in Jamaica try to make a life for themselves outside the structure destroy them. Let me remind you of something that happened with even the very Desmond Mackenzie when he was mayor of Kingston. Many people in Jamaica who are low in terms of socio-economic status, including the matter relating to income. Of course, income is a measure of social status. The people downtown would try to make a living for themselves by plying their ware on the street side. Yes, you may actually argue that sometimes they bar person from actually walking freely, and that is true. However, what Desmond or the system did was to destroy the carts, destroy the ware, take away their ware as an avenue and as an approach. Guess what? What the approach was? To rid the streets of vending. Without thinking to themselves that what they were doing is destroying the lives and future prosperity of the people of Jamaica. Because when we destroy the adult who are trying to make a living for their families, a number of them have children, what we are doing is destroying future generations. What do many person really think about that? Politics in Jamaica has been a destructive force by and large. I pause here for a person to actually think about it. What has politics substantially do to the people of Jamaica? Bo's contribution and other person's contribution to Jamaica has nothing to do with politics, but the individual effort of people, which is also the case for Rastas and for other marginalized groups in society. And when these persons or group try to rise from the ash that they have been what? Given to what? Live in, the system destroy them. This is a society that we have been building for years. And the Rastas have felt it more than most other groups in Jamaica. They have been destroyed, belittled, demoralized. We have had occasions in Jamaica's history where police have actually trimmed Rastas, and as recently as a few years ago, where a Rasta girl was actually trimmed in a police station. Why? Because these group of individuals differ in terms of thoughts and ideology than you have. Is that their approach to taking life? Because if that is true, then it means that we need to actually rid the Jamaica society of a number of persons who are what? Educated, a number of persons who are what? Wealthy, a number of persons who are also in what? Politics. But do we? No. These guys are in the what? The privileged class. And the average person in Jamaica, and I'm using the Rasta as my what? My base, have been ridiculed, sidelined, and marginalized for years. The time has come for us as a people to decide that enough is enough. We want a better Jamaica. Not a better Jamaica when it's time for sport, whether it's football, cricket, or rugby, or basketball, or when we have a special festival, or any such activities. A better Jamaica needs to be constructed for all Jamaicans. There is need not only for us to remove zinc fences, there's a need for each Jamaican to feel proud of this piece of land. How are the people going to feel proud of this piece of land when they are marginalized and frustrated on a daily basis? Is that the Jamaica we want? What are we going to do each day in Jamaica? Build higher fences? High-rise buildings? Are we going to be coming out of those communities? Are we going to be coming out of those areas? Because if we are, the next person we see might be our destructor. Let's clean up the society and make this place a better place. Let's stop abusing the Rastas. Let's stop destroying the Rastas. And that goes for every Jamaican in the society. Those are my views. I presented these views to you. May I hear what are your thoughts? Comment, share, subscribe to this channel. Ciao.